What's up, guys and girls? This is Scott.
This is Belida.
And we're Two Sticks. We're here with another song reaction for you guys. Belida, do you want to go ahead and let the audience know what it is?
One of my old favorites from the first Rush album ever made. Scott and I talked about one of our goals with this channel is we're trying to expose, even with popular bands, we're trying to focus on stuff that doesn't get the respect it's due, that doesn't get the exposure. Like Rush's first album, Neil Peart wasn't on it, but it still rocked. And if they would have just done this for the rest of their career, they would have been a great band. Now they became an uber super awesome great band, I'll admit. So this song is called In the Mood or Quarter to Eight, and we're not talking about the 1940s swing dance song. We're talking about Rush.
For a minute I was like, wait a minute, I thought the song was called Quarter to Eight. And then I'm looking in the corner of the screen here and it says In the Mood. I'm like, wait, did I get the wrong song?
I've seen it listed as both, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I searched YouTube for Quarter to Eight and this song came up.
That's what it's called. It's been so long since I actually had the album in front of me.
Yeah.
I probably forgot. I'll take the hit on that.
So we're going to go ahead and stop the, We're going to go ahead and start the song now.
There's that Geddy Lee voice.
Yeah.
Making its maiden voyage.
Won't you come and sit with me? I'll tell you all my lies. Hey baby, it's a hey now baby, don't you talk so fast. Just trying to make this a good time. I'm trying to make it last. Well, everything's getting hazy. Now, honey, where to go?
To me, this sounds a lot more like classic rock than Rush's other stuff.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Maybe this is the way they started, and then as they grew and evolved as a band, they turned into this prog rock thing. But
they
sounds,
sort of created prog rock.
Yeah. So this is the sound, especially that guitar lick that he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he'll play it again, and when he does, I'll go like this.
I'll tell you what I think.
See, but it sounds like a classic rock song to me.
That's how they started off. As a matter of fact, there is a very grainy, sketchy concert footage out there, right, of Rush playing a high school dance. Okay, we're talking like the 74, and Neil Peart had not yet entered the band. There was a guy named John Rutsky who was on their first album and was on their first tour, and the background is he didn't know he had diabetes. He was this young guy.
Oh wow.
The pictures, he looks, real fit and looks like a healthy guy, but he had diabetes. He had it pretty bad, and the drinking and partying almost killed him. He said, guys, I just can't do this. Like my doctor says I'm going to die. And so they looked for a new drummer, and Neil Peart. So you can tell that he brought a lot with him, but it's got this fun feel to it. I always thought it was a very fun album, the first album.
Yeah. Do you know if that original drummer, what happened to him? Did he die, or?
We can look that up. They made a Rush documentary, a short time ago. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was called The Lighted Stage or something like that. I think they interviewed him, so he was still around by that point.
Yeah.
But we used to say, who is this guy? Like, how come he didn't stay with Rush? He's probably kicking himself.
Well, it's so funny because in rock music, there are a couple other examples of iconic bands with iconic members in them that weren't original members, and they were replaced, or they were replacements for original people, like Iron Maiden, right? Mm-hmm. Bruce Dickinson wasn't the first vocalist Iron Maiden had. Before him, they had a guy named Paul Di'Anno who sang on their first couple of albums. And then they got rid of him.
You hardly hear about him.
You hardly hear about him. They got rid of him. They got Bruce Dickinson, and then the rest was history. And Faith No More, another band, really influential funk metal band from the late 80s and 90s. They started out, instead of having Mike Patton, that guy you see in the Epic video, before him there was another guy, a black guy named Chuck Mosley. And he was the vocalist on their first record, and nobody ever talks about him either, but he was really talented too. So it's just kind of funny how those sometimes when you're followed by legends, that kind of puts a shadow over your legacy.
Right. You know, but John Rutsky, I'll tell you what, if you're still around, and I hope you are, I actually like this album, and I like your work on it. I mean, I know that Neil Peart is Neil Peart, and Rush after this was a different entity, but I felt like that first album was a lot of fun. If you listen to it, it's got really catchy beats, and you can picture some teenagers, you know, playing it in the background while they smoke cigarettes or something, you know, hanging out by a lake somewhere, you know.
When did this come out? Was it
1974?
Wow.
And some of this stuff was earlier,
man.
yeah.
I think this came out the same year as Volume 4 by Black Sabbath. That's crazy.
You know what this is like? It's like if you see pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger as a 16-year-old before he got all like
is he rocking this
world class? You know, you're like, what they grew into.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, like you see pictures of someone as a kid and then the kind of man he became. You know,
it'd be like Shakespeare writing in his diary when he's 10 years old. You know?
Right.
What you learn, what you know.
I can even hear a hint of Leonard Skinner in there somewhere.
I was thinking that too.
Right.
Put my finger on it.
Right. Especially in the beginning. You know, it's almost like some of the Leonard Skinner stuff, you know. Like the beginning of this, in a way, reminds me of the beginning of Sweet Home Alabama.
It's like classic blues solo right here.
Right.
Classic rock.
It's always interesting listening to these with you because you're a musician and I'm not. I'm a storyteller, you're a musician, you know?
Yeah, well, I just want to be clear with the audience here. I don't play music anymore, but I grew up playing guitar, so... And I've played with other people, I've played with other musicians, so I do have some knowledge, but I'm not a current musician. I don't have a band or anything, so...
Hey, but there's not saying you couldn't pick it up again.
Yeah, that's very true, but you guys
maybe we'll get him to do a solo on camera one day. No pressure.
If I could even play one anymore, I don't know if I can pull it off.
It's not like you ain't got a guitar, bro.
That's true. I got an acoustic and electric.
I just picture like this guy playing a high school band talking to a girl, you know, after his performance, you know what I mean? Hey, you want to do something after the show?
Yeah.
And she's like, whatever. He's like, no, baby, come on. I'll tell you all my lies. Even the lyrics are more bluesy, you know?
Yeah.
There's that, you know, very southern rockish.
Hey, baby, it's 7:45. I'm being out in the mood. Hey, baby, the hour is late. I'm being out, got to move.
You hear it? You hear it?
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
It was nice. I'm a little biased towards Rush. Like, I like just about everything they do.
Same here. Yeah.
So I think I like this song because it's a Rush song. I don't know if another band played this, if I'd be as into it. But that's only because I didn't grow up in this time period. So
right.
To me, this music, I didn't really grow and live with it while it was fresh and new, and I don't have any of those memories. So it's hard for somebody who was born in 1990 to go back that far. And I have tried to go back and listen to stuff that came out in the 70s and in the 60s, but it's more difficult to go back and kind of appreciate that stuff if you didn't live through it, you know?
Okay. Well, I didn't live through the 60s, that's for sure. I mean, I was a zygote somewhere in 1969. But, you know, but I do appreciate a lot of the music that came out in the 60s and 70s. And what you see here is, I compare this to like a dandelion seed. You know, you got this little dandelion seed, and there's a million others like it. And there was a lot of bands like this in the 70s. And, you know, and then this one dandelion seed like lands in this one patch of land and mutates into
soil.
And mutates into this whole other thing you've never seen before. It's like a dandelion seed turning into a tree, and that's what Rush became, you know. Rush started off like this, and it wasn't that much different than everything else, but it was fun. It had a cool beat. These young guys out in Canada having a lot of fun.
It's a good song.
Boom.
It's a catchy song. I definitely agree with you on the lyrics being more classic rock and bluesy.
Yeah.
Because he's saying "Hey baby" and he's
Yeah.
got this refrain
Right.
that he keeps repeating, and if you hear anything like that, "Hey baby," "Whoa baby," usually,
Poppy.
man, that dates the music. Usually that's like blues, classic rock, that kind of thing.
Well, the only people that say
So-
"Hey Baby" right now are kind of like female singers, you know, like Ariana
Yeah.
Grande or something like that.
Yeah, but back in the day, you had guys who were musicians who
Yeah.
were trying to holler at women who were saying, "Hey,
Hey,
baby,"
baby.
over the microphone,
Get you smacked
on
now.
stage.
They'd be like, "Psh."
Yeah, but this song I thought was a good song. Is it? If I had an iPod, if we could like rewind like 8 years where people still had iPods, if I had an iPod, would this be on there? I don't know, maybe. But overall, I can look at the song kind of objectively and see the different elements of it and how it's constructed. I think that for this type of music that this is and the genre that it's in, I think this is a good song.
I want to say that one thing the first album teaches you when you go through the whole entire first album is you're like, you know, okay, the elements were there, the singing was there, the voice was there, the guitar playing, the bass was all there, and the drummer wasn't a bad drummer. Like I could
Right.
see this guy, if he had stayed in the rock and roll world, making a good career. You could see that when Neil Peart came on board, it was like a challenge. It was like someone threw down the gauntlet. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna play the drums to this level now.
Yeah.
And you rise. And then it was the writing. He was the writing genius behind Rush. You know, I'm gonna say that. So.
Yeah, and another thing too is I noticed listening to this is that that classic Geddy Lee fat, funky bass line that he usually drops
Ooh, I like the way
in
you
all
described
of,
that.
all of the songs
Yeah.
was shockingly dialed back and absent in this song. And I don't know if he maybe, when they made this album, if he hadn't really adopted that style yet, or what happened with his playing. But if this is the way the rest of the album sounds, you can definitely, I would come to the conclusion that his bass playing probably evolved too, along with Rush's overall sound.
You're
because-
looking at the seed of the greatness that was to become, and you're looking at
Yeah.
the ingredients, some of the ingredients it was pulled out of. I mean, it's like anything else in life. If you want to be a good fighter, right? If you want to get in the cage or in the boxing ring, you need good sparring partners, good coaches, right? If you want to be a good runner, you want to go up and down hills and stuff. You want resistance, you want
Yeah.
challenges. And I feel like Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, they grew up together. There's pictures of them playing tennis in school and all this stuff, you know.
That's so
Just
cool.
little kids, you know.
Wow.
And then this other young guy comes on board who's got this. He was working in his dad's hardware shop,
That's so
you know.
cool.
And they were all kind of nerdy and geeky and blue collar in a weird way. Well, Neil Peart's more blue collar looking than these guys when you see the old pics. And they got together and there was this challenge back and forth. Oh yeah, well I can outdo that. I can do
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, well if you can outdo that, you know. And anytime you have a member of the group who's got something different, who's got a bit of a talent that's unique. Now it can either make a conflict within that group where people turn on each other, or it's like they're pushing the envelope, challenging each other, and I think that's what happened here.
Yeah, sometimes you get really talented people in bands that don't get along artistically because they can't play their role. They're constantly trying to play over one another. But sometimes you get this perfect storm of circumstances where you have a bunch of virtuosic musicians playing together, but they're humble enough to recognize that they can't take over the entire song. They have to play within a certain structure and a role and a framework and allow all of these pieces to move together to create something that's better than the total of its parts. So
I get you.
I think Rush exemplified that. And one more thing too is Geddy Lee. Like when I look at him, I would be fascinated to see what he looked like when this album was made.
Not that different.
Really?
He's never looked that different.
He always looked like he was 45 with long hair and actually
the
funny
famous
thing-
beak
Yeah,
nose,
the beak
you know?
nose. When I see Geddy Lee, okay, I see the beak nose, the glasses, the long hair, the long dark hair. To me, that's like the prog guy, right? Like every prog guy that listens to like Rush, Genesis, Yes, and they have all those vinyls, you know, the prog rock aficionados. When I think of those people, I think of a person that looks like Geddy Lee. And that's not a negative or a positive thing, really. It's just a thing, you know. It's like he to me, he's like the front man for the whole damn genre.
Well, I'll tell you
So-
what. I really want to know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe. We're going to do a lot more Rush. I can just see that happening because we like Rush. And so, if you Rush fans are out there, I mean, talk to us. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want to know. If I say something incorrect, just give us the facts so that we can kind of document what's going on.
But also, guys, recommend other songs that are in this genre of rock too.
Yes.
Because we love Rush, but we want to also experience new things and try out new artists. So if you guys know this album really well, and then you know another artist around the same time that was putting out similar music, and there's a good song you want us to hear, put that in the comments section too.
We like pleasant surprises.
We like stuff like that. So, but that's basically it.
I got a little announcement.
Sure, Belida's got one more thing.
Okay, if you guys want to see me get tapped out, armbarred, or strangled, I'm 49. I'm going to be 49 May 1st, and I'm going to be entering a grappling competition in the novice senior heavyweight division sometime in July. So if you want to support me on that quest, I am taking donations. Contact me at my email deejin25@yahoo.com, and I'll put you guys on a list. I'll make a video on my channel, give you a shout out, and I'm going to bring a camera, and you can watch the dirty deed happen. So we can have a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah, hopefully Belida will fare pretty well. He's a strong, thick guy, so I'm sure he'll do all right. But
just have some fun.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Scott,
I'm Belida.
and
Two
Two
sticks.
Sticks. We'll see you guys next time.
Ooh, yeah.